Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really hope, family, that you are moving into your own narrative, because even the global narrative is changing, family. Remember, this world is built on the stories we tell each other and the stories we hold on to as truth. And a lot of the stories that we were holding on to that had been created by the Babylon Matrix are finally falling. And we are in the dispensation of telling ourselves a new story. We really are in the age of Aquarius. We really are in the age of revelation, because so much is being revealed to us. And one of the biggest things that's being revealed to us, family, is who are the intolerant ones and who are the tolerant ones. Who are the ones who are completely obsessed with tribalism, and who are the ones who can live together, who are more concerned with the unity of purpose. And there's someone who sent me this story on Patreon about the only African born, I think his name is Karamba or something. He was the only member of black member of parliament in Germany. Let's just put it like that. And he's been there for a while, but he has actually said that he will no longer, I mean, he's literally resigned, but he's actually said that he's going to stand down due to racist abuse. And he says that, he won't be standing in the next general federal elections. And ever since he entered the Bundestag in 2013, in a moment that was hailed as historic by equality campaigners, he has been unable. There's been death threats. He's received threats. His staff has received threats. I think there were some bullet holes that were either found in his office or his home. And it's just been a very rough ride. And then he says it's been made worse by the fact that I think it's is it the right-wing ones who are super racist? He said, yeah, it's been made even worse since, from the colleagues from the AFD, which is a far-right populist party. And the reason I'm even sharing this, family, because she wanted us to talk about how Africans were so much more tolerant, and we're allowing, we're allowing all the Mzungus in, but they wouldn't even allow a member of parliament. But I think we're in the biblical season, family, where every person must return to their lands. It's like Africans, we want our African lands back. And it's totally fine for the Europeans to also want their land back. There's been crazy anti-tourist, demonstrations in Spain and other countries across Europe. Even France, family, was heavily against the hosting of the Olympics, because the Olympics, as much as they try and pretend like the country gains a lot, the countries actually end up being left with a heavy debt. It doesn't even make economic sense anymore. And so I think they had wanted to clean up the Champs-Élysées, or the main river that goes through Paris. And and I think Macron and the mayor of Paris were going to swim in it. And so all the French people came together to take a poop in the river, and it was starting upstream, until they developed an app where if you were upstream in the river, they were telling you what time to poop in the river, so that the poop reaches Paris by the time Macron was going to see it. But family, of course, for so long, the Western elite have preached racism and elitism and the Mzungu savior for their own benefits. But it's now backlashing on them. And the thing is, the world is a stage. And these are dangerous times to be racist to certain people when your people are also guests of that person's nation. So those are the dangers of the seasons, because that intolerance is going to have a blowback, family. Because how do you think the Senegalese family, the Senegalese feel about their brother who wants to be a member of parliament being treated so racistly, I don't even know if that's a word, in Germany? Anyway, family, I think for me, of course, she had wanted me to talk about how us, we are more Africans, we're more tolerant, etc., etc. But the message I got from that family is that if you're an African and you're in Europe, please know what time it is. Please be aware of the seasons and the times that we're in. Just as much as Africans are demanding their land back, like here in Kenya, we're literally telling the IMF and the World Bank to F off. And so our brothers and sisters who are in the divided states and the divided kingdoms of this world, who have even been demonstrating in front of the Kenyan embassies in their countries, need to really start thinking about coming back to the motherland, because of course we know how Babylon operates. Of course we know how Babylon, from the backlash, because right now, family, one of the greatest lies we've ever been told, and that continues to be fed to us, which is crumbling so fast, is that Africa was poor, and it was the Europeans and the Americans who were coming to not only save us by giving us humanitarian aid and food and all these things, but they were also coming to assist us in liberating ourselves from our wicked people. We don't have food, we don't have this. And they've manipulated so much our seeds, the vaccines we give our children, everything. But now, as we start to disentangle ourselves and unwind ourselves for these policies which we find do not work for us, that our brothers and sisters abroad have to be extremely aware of the seasons and the times and plan to come back home, or at least to start repatriating, even if you're citizens of those nations, family. Even if you're citizens of those nations. And to our African American brothers and sisters and our British American and our British African brothers and sisters, I tried so hard 5 years ago. I started with building bridges and I went to Karibu Nyumbani. I met so much backlash. Standing up for the motherland has cost me so much. I'm not regretting it, family, but I have faced extreme obstacles, attacks on my money, attacks on my stability, attacks on my personal security that have literally exhausted me. And there was so much jealousy, envy, and bad mouthing in both the divided states and the divided kingdom, with people calling me a sorceress, a witch, a this, a that. So when I find myself now, 5 years later, being bombarded by emails from our brothers and sisters in the divided states and in the divided kingdom asking how I can help them relocate, it breaks my heart, because that energy and that season and that time have gone. And now there's literally a revolution in Kenya and across the Africa that we now have to give all our energy and all our time to. And we're also finding a home in the Gen Z, or in the younger Africans who understand our mind, and where it's more about issues than whether I'm using filters or not using filters, or whether I'm doing this or whether I'm doing that. But may the Most High, and I've already talked about how, a lot of African Americans also came from the divided states, but may you be guided so much, family, in knowing where to position yourselves, because I feel that the ancestors, the global ancestors and ancient ones, are back. And of course, if there was goodwill, these are things that could be revisited. Because let's not forget that when Africa was gaining independence, the first independence that was hijacked, there was a very close collaboration with the Malcolm X's of the divided states. But if you're an African and you're living abroad, it's time to really, really come home. And I've been giving this message for 5 years, but there's going to be an increasing lack of tolerance. Because just as you were taught that you were poor and that you were a refugee and all you wanted to do was to go to Europe and only Europe had the solutions for you, the Mzungu in Europe has also been taught that you, as the African, are the problem. You're the reason their cities are going down. You're the reason they're experiencing all kinds of hardship in their countries. And it is just that season where everyone must return to their nations and be counted. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, tuko pamoja.